everyone, welcome again to this channel. It's Bukky, and today we are going to continue on the series we started with Tobi, right? Tobi had discussed, if you are new to this channel, welcome. So we are having a series where we discuss how to study free in Germany. And Tobi is our first guest in this series. Tobi had talked about how he got the idea of coming to Germany to study, how he applied for his bachelor's, and then he went ahead to do his master's. And today, for this particular episode, Tobi will be talking about how he transitioned from being a student into being a professional in Germany. So I'm going to welcome him now into the studio. Please encourage Tobi as he joins.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for that warm welcome.
You're welcome. So you can just briefly introduce yourself again, if you don't mind.
Yes. So for those who are just tuning in, or just watching this for the first time, my name is Tobi Ojekunle. I'm from Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria, and I've been in Germany for the past 8 years now, since 2013.
Wow.
I did my bachelor, my master's, and now I'm working in the sustainability industry, precisely in the wind energy industry in Germany. Yes, and it has been fun. Last in the previous video, we talked about the experience studying bachelor and masters, and now today I'm looking forward to sharing about career and the transition from education to career world or working world. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so let's just get straight go right into the discussion of today.
Yeah.
All right. So, and by the way, if you've not seen the video about his bachelor's journey, his master's journey, the link will be in the description. Just click on it, and then if you take you to that video, you have to watch, or you have to watch that series, right? But if you're already here in Germany and you're thinking, okay, so how do I find aware of this particular series? This particular episode is your episode. Okay, so Tobi, so tell us, when you did your masters, right, or when you were doing your masters, at what point did you started to look out for for jobs, and then what did you do to prepare yourself for the job market?
Yes. So I started looking for a job like 8 to 9 weeks before submitting my master thesis.
Okay.
Like at that period of time, I was already sure of how far my master thesis was going or how it has gone, and I was looking at the end already in front of me. So I took that as a sign for the best time to take the next step for my life.
Okay.
And I did that as soon as possible, because I was not I didn't want to take a break between working and schooling and working. Exactly. Okay. I didn't want to take any break in between that, so I decided to just transition as soon as possible. So how did I prepare myself for this?
Yes, most important how did you prepare yourself?
Yes, the most important thing for me was to prepare my CV, my curriculum. Okay. Yes, as in make sure that my profile was up to date. Ensure that I went to also find out about how to create an attractive CV. How to create a very attractive CV was very important for me. Then also
how to your gist about how you created an attractive. I mean, it's really important, so it's not just about creating CVs, but then creating a CV that catches the eye of your target audience in terms of hiring manager or your recruiter. So I'll come to that question, but then continue.
Yes, and also most companies always require like a motivation letter for them, and then you have to write it in a way that shows that you really know about their company, have passion to work with them, and passion for what you studied in school. And I had to learn about this also, from some seminars in school. But how did I come across the companies that I applied for? I started sorry, hope that's not entering to the mic.
I think before we go, I think that's another question that we can. So how you came across the companies you applied for. So maybe you should tell us then, before you go to that question. Maybe I should just even put it down so that I don't forget. But before you go ahead to talk about how you came across the companies you applied for, I want us to dwell on what was in your CV. What did you put in your CV? What was important for the recruiters? that you made them got attracted to you, and how did you said something about motivation letter. So how
Yes.
did you formulate your motivation letter? Did you, just put some of the things that were already in your CV into your motivation letter, or you crafted it in a different way?
Mm. Yes, I understand.
Mm.
So for the CV, starting from with the CV, one has to, like in the German system, for example, it's always nice when you have like a profile picture that shows yourself.
Yeah,
A lot of people
that's
say
good.
it's not. Yeah, some people say it's not necessary, but it's important actually to have a picture of you.
Mm.
With your with just from your head to maybe
Headshot.
half of your chest, yeah, headshot exactly.
Mm-hmm.
With maybe a nice smile, with nice hairdo, yes, and ensure that it's maybe you are well dressed depending on
Mm-hmm.
what you're studying. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
putting on a suit, maybe a tie if you're into marketing or
Mm-hmm.
that region,
Mm-hmm.
but well dressed, and also
Mm-hmm.
ensure that you have your name correctly written, you have your address there,
Mm-hmm.
mostly your date of birth, and
Mm-hmm.
also what is important is the flow of everything you've done in your
Mm.
lifetime.
Okay.
Right from maybe from primary school or from secondary school, ensure
Mm-hmm.
that you have that flow in your system in the CV. Like
Okay.
ensure that you have it well dated,
Mm-hmm.
and the way I know about, or the way I have it on my own CV currently, is that
Mm.
the most recent, like my master is at the top,
Top.
then
Okay.
it goes down to the roots, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the best way to list it.
Yes.
How do I know that's the best way? Because from the various interviews,
Interviews.
the,
Okay.
exactly, the HR will always would love to see the last thing you did first.
Mm-hmm. So
Then
they
we
call
start
it
going there
chronological
down.
order, but then the
Yeah,
recent at first, and then the other ones coming later. Okay.
exactly.
Thank
And
you.
ensure that you list like all your experiences. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, everywhere I worked, even for my summer job, I listed it there. What did I do there? Like
Mm-hmm.
what are the names of the company? Those are very, very important things. And also make it chronological also. Like,
Okay.
okay, summer 2020, I worked at Daimler, for example. I helped them
Mm-hmm.
to fix tires. You just write it there.
Mm-hmm.
Or summer 2019, I worked at a company where I was helping to assemble part of a
Moto.
motorcycle, for
Yeah.
example, or motor vehicle or something like that. You just
Another
write you
job.
write it there. Exactly. With that you help you. It makes your interview also very interesting because they will love to know everything you learn from different parts, and
Mm-hmm.
also to know it helps them to know that you are capable of doing a lot of things, and
Mm.
it also shows that you make best use of your time,
Real
like
time.
you have exactly, and
Mm.
also if you have a large break in between studies, for example, or in between a period when there's nothing to in between two different phases on your CV,
Mm-hmm.
you must be able to explain why you have that break in between.
Okay.
I learned
Like
that
a
also,
gap.
like a gap. Exactly, if you have a gap in between, like maybe secondary school and university, you
Mm.
must be able to have a very good explanation,
Mm-hmm.
an understandable explanation for that
Mm.
also in your CV. And one thing that's also important next after the the whole experiences, after the
Mm.
whole experiences, one thing that's important is also like your skills are also very
Mm.
important. What can you do?
Okay.
Can you
That's
program
good.
in Python? Can you use
Mm-hmm.
Word? Can you use
Mm-hmm.
Excel? Can you use Word
Mm.
documents? Or can you use SPS, or can you,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, do web designing? All these
Design,
possible skills that
video
you can do.
editing,
Exactly, video editing or
podcast editing.
podcast, everything possible, you can write it there. And a lot
Mm.
of people always say it's always good when you also evaluate yourself, like in with these skills
Mm.
also. So you can
Mm.
say video editing very good or excellent,
Mm.
or podcast editing good. Some
Good.
people, you can
Good.
add that it's optional, but
Mm-hmm.
it's good to always list out everything that you can
Okay.
you can do. And
Mm.
also, what is very important also is when you're applying for a job, for example, you're applying for a marketing job, ensure
Mm-hmm.
that you have skills that are related to marketing
Yeah.
also there.
Marketing. Okay.
So you can list 100 skills, but ensure that you have skills that are useful for that job, that
That
position that
job.
you are
Mm-hmm.
applying for.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you're
But it's
saying
good
that
to.
for every application, at
Mhm.
least, or for every job role that you're applying for, make sure that what you have on your CV, it's in synchrony to what the job description is expecting you to have.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And you can put those skills as the first ones before you list the other skills, for
Other
example.
skills, yeah. So you
Yes.
prioritize them compared to the other skills.
exactly. So that when the HR personnel is reading it, maybe in front of you in interview, they see the important skills first. Later,
First,
they see all your thousands of skills. They're like, wow, you can do
yeah,
what is relevant for our job and
for our job.
other things too. And
Exactly.
other things
And
too.
I think that's
Yes.
a very important thing you said, because
Mm.
people's attention span these days is very short. So
Yeah.
yeah, serious. So you just want to like really sell yourself fast. You want to be there in the person's face. So the most
Mm.
important thing that you think this person should know about you should be prioritized.
Yes.
Should be the things that will catch their eyes first
Attention.
before you
Yes.
list other
Yes.
things. So as many skills that you can have, like you said, you should have it in your CV. But then the
Yes.
most important ones, especially regarding that job, should be the ones at the top of the skills when you are listing those skills. Thank you very
Yes.
much. And then I
Exactly.
also got that it's important that to evaluate yourself how good you are in terms of the
Mm.
skills. Are you like
Yes.
excellent, or are you advanced, or are
Like
you good, or not so good? But because even if
learning.
they're not so good, or let me say
Mm.
an average skill, at least they know
Mm.
that you have a touch point to that skill,
Mm.
which means that
Yes.
it will be easier to teach about
Mm.
on that skill rather than someone that doesn't even have any form of experience at all to that skill.
True. Yes. That's correct. That's very correct. And one last part that one can list also on the CV is always
Mm-hmm.
like the last part is always like your hobbies.
Your
Like
hobbies.
it's important for like organizations
That's
that
important.
want to for some organizations that have emphasis that place emphasis on work-life balance, for example.
Okay.
It could be of
Mm,
relevance to them. Like,
thank
okay,
you.
what do you do when you're not working? Let
Working.
us know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people want to know. You
Yes,
just work. So that you don't come and collapse here.
exactly. And it's always important for you to show that, okay, when I'm not
Mm,
working here, I am going to be riding my bicycle, or I'm going
mm,
to be reading a book, or I'm going
mm,
to be maybe knitting something, or I'm going to be
mm-hmm.
doing my tailoring job or something like
So
that.
yeah. Yeah.
It's good to include it. And sometimes also additional or optional is organizations that you are part of. Maybe you are doing some
Mm,
voluntary job, for example.
mm.
You could also place it there. Like
Okay.
for example, on my CV, I place that I am a member of Redeemed Christian Church of God, for example, and I'm a member of the Association of German Engineers. Also is also listed here, like just to show them that I am part of other organizations. I have other
Organizations, a community. You have a
responsibilities.
community.
Community, exactly.
Mm,
So
that's
it
good.
shows them that you have a support system, or you have other
Mm,
things that you do
mm.
outside a
Wow.
job.
I didn't even think of like the Redeemed percentage of what you mentioned, like the church thing. I didn't, did I? Interesting.
Yeah.
And especially for what's it called for international students,
Mm.
right? Of course, you do. It's not as if that will be the first thing you put there in your CV, but then if you put as part of the communities you belong to, then they see you as
Yes.
somebody probably that has more tendencies towards collaboration, for example, who
Mm.
is really involved
Yes.
with, who is really interested in working with other people. And these
Yes.
days it's all about communities and support systems. So people want to know what kind of communities are you in? Can they
Yes.
benefit from your network?
Mm.
And that
Mm.
is what this is about. Okay, that's
That's true.
interesting.
That's very true. So that makes up your CV already. Like you first
Mm,
list your educational background, list
mm-hmm,
your experiences, job
mm-hmm,
experiences,
mm-hmm,
then you list your skills, then
mm-hmm,
you list your you list also you could also list your languages. Like I
mm,
missed that part out.
yeah,
You could list the
yeah,
languages that you could speak, and also
mm,
you could give yourself
mm,
grade for that also.
mm,
Maybe you can speak German, maybe good. You
mm,
can speak English very good, or
mm,
you can say
mm,
Yoruba, your mother language or mother tongue,
mm,
for example.
mm,
You could list that also. Additionally, you could list then you list your hobbies, you
mm,
list maybe the organization that you're part of, then
mm.
your CV is complete.
That's good. So before
Yeah.
we move ahead from the question of CV, see what is that you don't want to have on your CV, for example?
Mm. What's that one thing that you don't have on your
One of the
CV?
things that
That's
came
it.
to my mind when you talk about the German language was,
Yes.
some people saying they can speak so level of German,
Mm.
but they cannot.
Mm.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody claiming what they are not.
Yes.
What do you have
That's
to
not
say
a good
to
thing.
that?
Yes, I believe if you cannot speak very good German, it's not right that you can speak very good German.
Just
Like
state the level that you are in, right?
exactly,
A1 to
exactly,
A2 or E1 or
exactly.
E2. Make sure that it's that
Hmm.
level that you are in. But go ahead, I just wanted to
Yes. Yes, and that's part of what I was going to say actually. I wanted to say, when you're listing everything, all your attributes, you should not
Mm,
exaggerate it. Make it
mm,
as modest as possible,
yeah.
and make it precise as possible, as precise as possible.
Yes.
Because any question could pop up from anywhere.
Anywhere.
They could ask you that, okay, you went to this school and you got this grade. Explain this thing to us. Or if you write your grade in the CV, for example, they
Mm,
could start asking you questions like, okay, what was your bachelor thesis about, for example.
mm,
You finished in secondary school, okay, where is that secondary school on the
mm,
map or something like that?
mm,
Or you worked in this company, you did this kind of
mm,
job. Explain
mm,
that thing to us.
mm,
I explain what that job was about. So if you exaggerate, or
mm.
if you give some complex title, you could find yourself in a trap when you are
Wow.
explaining it to them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So guys,
So
that's that. You hear that very well, right? So please make sure that you're not claiming what you're not on your CV. And again, you can go back to this particular question and listen to all the things that Toby said about how to prepare your CV to be ready for the German job market as an international student in
yeah.
Germany. Okay. Thank you for
Yes.
listening, and then we'll see you again in the next session.